Visitation's 2021 Distinguished Alumna is Molly Hilger Thibault, 1951, who has been heralded by her classmates and friends as a living example of the quiet virtues preached by St. Francis de Sales. When Molly's first child, Gregory, was born with Down syndrome, Molly and her husband, Harry, dedicated their lives to creating a loving environment, not only for Greg and their other children, but also to acting as lifelong advocates for children with special needs and inspiring that calling in their children and others as well. Molly has raised 6 children with Harry, and they currently reside in Shoreview, Minnesota, where Molly continues to live a life centered around her faith and family.
Mom was born and raised in St. Paul. Her father was an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and her mom was an English teacher at Central High School, and she attended Nativity for grade school and Visitation for high school, graduating in 1951.
Grandma is very joyful.
The hands and feet of Christ.
The one word I'd use to describe my grandma is love.
Faithful.
Charitable.
Devout.
Loving.
Pure of heart.
Loving.
Caring.
Holy.
Beautiful.
Grandma is able to connect her soul to yours.
Compassionate and humble.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Faithful.
Funny.
Amazing.
My lifelong inspiration.
Grandma is always there.
Selflessness.
Altruism.
Effervescent.
Unconditional love.
Joyful.
Laughter.
Compassionate.
Joyful and excited for the little things.
Mom and Dad were married at Nativity Church in the summer of 1957 and then spent their honeymoon driving 2,000 miles to Coronado, California, since my dad was in the Navy at the time. They lived there for 3 years and during that time gave birth to our oldest brother, Greg. Greg was born in 1959 and he had Down syndrome. At the time, the medical profession really pressured parents, including our parents, to put them into a mental institution. But our parents made the brave decision to raise him at home. Greg was happy, sometimes stubborn. He taught how to love and gave lots of hugs. He loved people unconditionally and without any precondition. He knew the meaning of suffering from his heart condition, his 20-plus visits to the hospital, and the pain caused by the tumor that eventually took his life. Yet he didn't complain. Greg has always been the glue to our family growing up.
Yeah, what was it like raising him?
Wonderful. He was so special that it was just it was a gift from God for us. It was just wonderful. Gregory, you could say, how he brought us to this wonderful life because of him. It could have brought us even much closer to God. Just to have the time that we had to love him and just to take care of him.
My mom is a pretty remarkable woman, but in a silent way, in a behind-the-scenes type of remarkable. To know my mom is to know that she is a deeply spiritual woman. She is a woman of God, clearly. My mom has centered her life on daily prayer, reading the daily gospel, praying the liturgical hours, Mass, adoration, confession. My mom has truly lived out the basic Christian mandate of sheltering the homeless and welcoming the strangers. You know, Mother Teresa said, "The greatest disease in the world is not leprosy. It's being unwanted, uncared for, unloved." And you know, my mother, she believed that Mother Teresa was right. Her life embodied that. Visitation alumni community, we are grateful for your acknowledgement of this fine servant of the Lord, our mother, and we thank you for the opportunity to share Molly Thibault's faith with you this day. God bless you all.
My mom, Molly, has been and is a faithful woman. A particular Bible verse comes to mind when I think of her. It's Matthew 25, verse 35. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. A stranger, and you welcomed me. My mom truly lived this out throughout her life. In 1975, she began to help refugees from Vietnam. These people came to Minnesota with absolutely nothing. She welcomed them into their home with open arms and did this for many, many years. She helped my dad find furniture, clothing, housing, and jobs for families from Vietnam, Hmong families from Laos, and families from Bosnia. In the later 1990s, she began to host children from Belize along with their parents. These children came to Minnesota for heart surgery. This heart surgery was not available in Belize, and many of these children would most likely have died without this surgery. The Mayo Clinic offered to provide these surgeries for free, and they did more than 50 surgeries on these children from Belize.
My mom is a caring, loving, compassionate individual. All of those words that were shared earlier by all the grandchildren fit her perfectly. My mom taught by example. She taught us how to be selfless, which I think is probably one of the most difficult things to teach someone, but she taught that by the way that she lived her life. I think a perfect example of that is how she so willingly opened up her home for the refugees that she sponsored. When these families came to the United States, they had nothing. They might have had a few dollars in their pocket, but most likely their pockets were empty. They had the clothes that were on their back, and that was all. Not a single bag, not a single thing of belongings. They came here empty. It took a while for them to find jobs and to find living. So in the meantime, my parents opened up our house. And as a kid, that was kind of tough. And it kind of sounds rather petty at this time, but there were times that I had to share my room with another individual, another stranger, because we didn't have another bed in the house, so they used one of the other beds that were in my bedroom. And I had to empty out some of my dresser drawers so that I could make room for them. And as a kid, that was a difficult thing to do. But my mom taught me that being selfless and thinking about the needs of others is more important than some of those little things that we care about for ourselves. And that was just a great example of being selfless. And she has really taught all of us how to live our lives that way.
Daily Mass, if possible, spiritual reading. She's had spiritual counselors. What sticks with us is how she always is fully present to whoever she's with. I don't even know what age she was, or I was at this time, but she was, I'll just say, a young mom, and she would get herself to downtown St. Paul, and she volunteered at the Listening House. And the Listening House is a place that homeless people can just pop into when they need to, and there'll be someone in there that can just listen to them and maybe check on their needs. And I know Mom's job there, a volunteer, was just to listen to whoever came in off the street. All of these qualities led Mom to seek the Lay Carmelite community. The Carmelite community is based within the Catholic Church, and it's a personal commitment to like solitude, silence, prayer, and looking out for the needs of others. Being a lay Carmel is a way of life, and it's a call to seek God's will in just our everyday circumstances.
What are the most important things to you? Just in life, what are the most, maybe you could just share with...
To get to heaven. That's what the goal is. Yeah.
To get to heaven. It's not, you're not just dealing with a person or a friend. You're dealing with God, with Jesus. And so that's the important thing, I think, with our life. We think we live a whole lifetime, and God put us all here to learn how to find out where He is and what He wants us to do. And He's really put us on this earth so that he can keep leading us according to where he wants us to be. And it really, just think how easy, if a person wanted to sit down when it's quiet and start asking Jesus, help me. We all have that need for finding him. Thank you, Jesus.
My dear best friend Molly, we have known each other for 71 years. We spent time on the phones when we were not doing overnights at one or the other's homes. We took trips to the cabin at Park Rapids and had many laughs while trying on your dad's old hats. You and I both married great men in 1957. The guys ended up both being pilots for North Central Airlines. We went on vacation to Hawaii together and had a ball. We have been through good days and bad days, but the good days have really won out. I love you so much. Your forever friend, Rita.